Thank you for joining me again, guys. This is Chris Talonga again with another long length haircut tutorial. I'm going to break it down step by step of how I achieve this look in a half-an-hour time frame. First step, I'm going to go through and evenly saturate the hair with water, making sure it's nice and soaked down so it's easier for me to create my sections and create my scissor work. The water is going to help the hair bind together, making it easier for me to pick up the hair. Right now we're going to jump straight into the sideburn area first, and I'm just flicking a 1.5 open in the sideburn area just so we can take it down, get it nice and neat but still dark enough where you can't see down to the scalp. Right now we have our trimmer. I'm just cleaning up the little edges, making sure it's neat but also natural. Same thing again on the other side. So my first section here, I'm going to be splitting the top straight down the middle, and how we can find the middle, we can use the nose as a reference. With this sectioning pattern, we're going to create 3 zones. So I'm going to separate the back from the 2 front halves of the head. I'm going to work on the back first, and it's just going to be easier to control my shape using these sectioning patterns. So right there from the top of the head straight down to the back of the ear, so we can separate the back cleanly. Now we're jumping into what's called a profile section. So I'm taking a finger length width section vertically from the top of the head where we made that middle part through to the back of the nape. And this will be my first cut coming up shortly. So the reason why we use a profile guide is so we can create the shape where the width of the head is. You see the profile guide travels right over the occipital bone, which is the widest point of the back of the head. And it'll give me a lot more control to create my shape from there. So you can see now I'm pulling the hair straight out from the head and cutting it square, okay? Notice when I pull the hair straight out, there's no over direction down or up. Elevation is neutral, making sure we're not building up any unintentional weight with this shape on the inside. Beautiful. So what we're going to do now, we're going to take horizontal sections, and I've got my guide in the middle that we just created from the profile guide, and all we'll do is just connect it in. So same thing here with the elevation. I'm pulling the hair straight out from where the hair lives. No elevation up or down, just neutral to ensure I create a nice light fluent shape. Taking finger length sections as we work up the back of the head. And you can really see my guideline just on the middle there. And all I need to do is just connect it. And while I'm doing this, I'm using a Eastern grip technique with my scissors. This just gives me a little bit more control as I'm working through these sections. And the scissors that I'm using is a Mizutani Acro Type K. This one's custom, that's why it's black. And this is the 6-inch. Beautiful. So that left side done, we're going to repeat the same steps on the right side of the head. So grooming the hair in the direction that we want to take our sections. So you can see I've groomed the hair horizontally, and I'm taking my sections horizontally. Finger length sections. If your sections are too big here, we're going to have an inconsistent shape as we're working up the head. Up to the top of the head, so doing my final section now. Beautiful. And now I'm just doing a cross check. So I cut the hair horizontally. Now I'm doing my cross check the opposite way. So I'm taking vertical sections and checking if there's any inconsistencies in the shape and just making that adjustment. Now we're straight into the side panel of this haircut. Okay, so same thing, saturate the hair down with water so it's easier to work with. And I'm going to be taking a section from the recession, so the corner of the hairline, through to the back. And this will separate the length from the top and really isolate the length on the sides so we can work with it with more control. Pin that down. Now same again, I've got a guide from the back. I'm going to be taking horizontal sections. My first section just above the ear, as usual, finger length width. And I've got my guide just there. And we're going to be connecting that in. Same thing, pulling the hair straight out from where the hair lives, making sure that elevation is neutral. And once I've got my guide at the bottom, I can go through and use that as a reference and take diagonal sections as I'm doing here and connecting that in. So we have to keep in mind the shape vertically with this haircut is square, so there's no weight build up. The weight is distributed nice and evenly, so you can do any sectioning pattern through this section right now. I've got my guide from the bottom. As long as you have control of your cutting line and your elevation, you can go through and attack this any kind of way, whatever's going to give you more control through here. So right now I'm pulling the hair straight out, making sure my cutting line is square and making sure my elevation of my section is also square. Right now I'm just checking the outline, seeing how the hair falls, and if there's any adjustments that need to be made, going in and making that adjustment. Same thing on the left side, creating that section or separating the top from that side panel using the corner of the recession as a guide. And we're going to be creating the same length and shape on this left side, only this time I'm going to use a different technique. On the right side where I'm taking my section now, I actually measured out that length of hair with the back of my comb, and we're going to cut it at that reference point. Now I'm using a YS Park comb, and if you guys aren't familiar with the YS Park combs, they come with notches on the back of the spine of the comb, and you can use this almost to measure out different hair lengths just to ensure that you get complete accuracy. So that's what I've done there. Okay, I've got my guideline at the front and I pull it out square the exact same way I took my reference point on the right side of the head, and then I'll complete my shape from there. right now, being consistent with elevation as I'm traveling along, making sure there's no over direction down. We don't want any unintentional weight with this haircut. I want it nice and light internally, and the layers are going to achieve that for my client. So opposite on this side, we've got our guideline at the top, and I'm pulling the hair out nice and square and taking off the excess length at the bottom, which you see right now. So guideline at the top, and we make that adjustment. Take a horizontal section, and again, you can do any sectioning pattern through here as long as you pull the hair out square, elevation is neutral, and your cutting line is square. You're going to create a square shape. So right now we're just dropping the top, and I'm going to be connecting the top into the length on the sides that we just created. And I'm taking my section through here using the vertical hairline as a reference to separate the fringe. Now all I need to do is connect anything that's hanging down. So you can see here, pulling out nice and square, nice and straight, and just connecting that side panel. We're going to work finger length sections all the way to the back of the head until there's nothing else to cut. Grooming the hair, constantly making sure tension is maximized so we can create a nice even shape. Checking my shape, nice and clean, checking how it moves. And we will repeat this same process on this left side. So that first section again, taken from the vertical bars of the hairline, separating the fringe, giving me almost the body of the top, and we're connecting whatever falls down onto our square shape. Now right now we're going to use that same profile section that we used at the back through the length on top. And again, that's straight down the middle of the top of the head, and we use the nose as a reference of what's middle. And what we're going to create is something that's short to long. So short at the back of the top of the head and longer towards the fringe, so we can preserve length to move around. So you can see my finger angle complements that shape, working longer towards the front. Now I'm going to take horizontal sections from back to front, making sure we're picking up the hair, making sure tension is maximized. There's no loose strands, just so we can get a nice, even, consistent shape. I've got my guide in the middle there, and all I need to do is just connect it to that point. Same thing again, I'll separate the right side that I just completed, isolate the left, and work my horizontals again. You can really see the guideline there, and I'm just chipping away at it. Finger length sections, making sure we're not picking up too much hair, keeping it nice and consistent as we work to the front. Now what I'll do now is just separate the top into two panels, very similar to the start. This time I'm just seeing where the fringe falls, and I'm going to connect it into my outline. Very minimal through here. I don't want to take too much off the front. I just want to make that slight connection, but build that length forward. We're going to do that on both sides. We're just checking symmetry, where the hair falls, looking at the back. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go through this whole haircut and add texture with the texturizing blade. So what I'm going to do through here, from that middle part at the top of the head, that's going to travel down into the back. And we're going to work those same horizontal sections that we did at the start for the back of the head. Only this time, we're going to go through and almost use a weaving technique with the texturizing blade. That way we can add some texture, really get some movement with this one. Especially with my client, he has nice thick hair. I need to lighten it up with the texture blade, just so we can get some real nice movement. The key with this one is just weaving with the corner of your texturizing blade. We're not looking to take too much length off this one. We're just creating shorter strands on the inside. But then also, the way you texturize needs to follow the shape that you created. So you can see here, I'm pulling the hair straight out from where the hair lives, and I'm still following my square structure, even though I'm going through and adding texture. If you don't texturize in accordance to the shape that you created, there's a high chance that you will destroy that shape. So you could spend a lot of time really dialing down on a perfect shape, and you could go through and destroy it by adding too much texture in the wrong spots. And here I'm just separating the fringe from the side panels because I don't want to texturize the fringe too much. I want to leave that nice and heavy. Let's leave it for the end and see how everything falls first. So we're going to pin that up. this time I'm going to almost use vertical sections through and use that same weaving technique using the corner of my texturizing blade just to shadow the hair. And again, finger length sections, and we'll work from the front of the hairline through to behind the ear. Repeating the same process on the left side. Right now we're just looking at how that fringe falls and just adding some slight texture just on the outline, making sure that edge is nice and shadowed. Now I'm working with some sea salt spray through this one. We're just going to work it through and saturate it in. And then I've got my diffuser on, and I've got this on high heat, low air, just so we can really get the heat through and not have too much air to straighten this one out. I want more of a natural wavy look. I'm just working my fingers through this one, pushing it around. Now I'm just assessing the length. You can see really nice movement with this one. And there it is, a full long length haircut executed in 30 minutes on the shop floor. If this helped you or you took something from it, like and subscribe. I have plenty more tutorials coming, and if you have any questions or want further education, send me a message and I'll be happy to help. But again, this is Chris DeLonga finishing this one out. Thank you for joining me.